my thanks to everyone on this virtual event. We're all gathered to record what we're hoping to do in June as part of the Celebrating Cultural Esteem. And I'm delighted to all of you for volunteering to come and do that. And so without further ado, let me call on our patron, Professor Sir Geoff Palmer, to say a few contextual words about our endeavour. Sir Geoff, over to you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Neil. It was a great honour. And, you know, I'm based, as you know, in the north. I'm in Scotland, near Edinburgh, a small village called Pennycook. I was yesterday, although I'm this far, I was speaking to people from Jamaica yesterday. I think the High Commissioner was there. So, although far away, I've got my links. Now, the Windrush Day Thanksgiving gathering, I think this is a very novel concept, but it is novel based on the fact that, you know, there are, to me anyway, two other celebration days or celebration periods, which I hope that the Windrush Day Thanksgiving gathering will actually emulate and become permanent. And by that, I'm talking about the St. Patrick's Day and also the Burn Supper time. And these are two celebrations which the people have different levels. You know, you can have this at the very high academic level, and you can have it with just two people, you know, sitting and talking and wearing green, as in St. Patrick's Day, or in Burn Supper, you know, trying to remember one or two of the poems of Robert Burns. So we hope that this Windrush Day Thanksgiving gathering will take on that sort of permanence, not a sort of a haphazard, you know, one-off event. Now, what is it about? I think it's about the celebration of cultural esteem. And cultural esteem, and what do I mean by that? I'm part of the Windrush generation. You know, I came in 1955 to join my mother, who was here from 1951. And, you know, we, in order to keep ourselves going, we had parties. They used to call them blues parties at weekends. And we developed the concept of the sound system, you know, and it was a wonderful piece of equipment. And, you know, and that kept us together. We went and we sat and we talked, although we've not seen each other all week. And it was a time of getting together. And I think the Windrush Day, you know, celebration will, I would say, gather a bit of that, of us coming together. Now, you know, there are different ways in which this can be celebrated. You know, we can't tell people what to do. But I think that if individuals, say, for example, in Scotland, you know, we have a Jamaican society. And remember, you know, the groups involved in this are not only people from the Caribbean, but Africans and also the descendants. This is the sort of group which we, you know, are linked to this Windrush Day celebration. Now, in Scotland, what I aim to do is 22nd of June and onwards up to the Sunday, following Sunday, we've got a Jamaican society, and there's a lovely friend of mine. She's Jamaican, and I usually ring her, and I usually ask her to do anything, or she asks me to do it, and she has all the addresses and the links with Jamaicans in Edinburgh and in Scotland, and we will have an event, just like we have an event for Independence Day, Jamaica Independence Day. And, you know, we have one of the Reach Society's champions, Ashton, who's a doctor, and he comes to all of these. He's on the list. And therefore, what you need is somebody always to remind people, to sort of a motivator, so to speak, in order to kick off this Thanksgiving gathering. And I think that within 10 years or 100 years, it'll become automatic. Burns Day and, you know, Burns suppers and St. Patrick's Day, they are not automatic. People just know the time and celebrate them. And therefore, you know, I think this is a very innovative concept, and I am sure it will become a permanent part of, you know, the Windrush story. Thank you.
Sir Geoff, thank you for that. And I sincerely hope you are right, that what we're doing will begin to look and feel like St. Patrick's Day or Burns evenings. So let me move smartly now into inviting people to share what they're hoping to do in that last week of June, between the 22nd and the Sunday following, which this year will be the 26th. And I'd like to call on my good friend, Donald Douglas. I do have another good friend who most people know is Donald Palmer, but Donald Douglas, because Donald has some very interesting things planned for that period. So Donald, do you want to share what you're hoping to do? Can you unmute Donald Douglas for me, please, Craig?
Right. Good evening, Dwain, and good evening, panelists. My name is Donald Douglas. I'm the chairman of the Association of Jamaica, UK. For Windrush Day celebration, celebrating cultural esteem, we will collaborate with Reach Society to host a group of about 12 Black-led organizations on the 25th of June, where we will celebrate cultural esteem. On the 24th of June, we will have a Caribbean snack session at our elderly coffee morning and celebrate and discuss our cultural esteem in the UK. On the 26th of June, we will participate in the Caribbean ex-servicemen and women march past in Lambeth, signifying the contribution our Windrush service personnel has made in the UK. Two of our association members are currently negotiating with their church to see if we can, on the 26th of June, put on a service in two churches in Croydon. That's what we're planning so far, Dwain.
Donald, that sounds like heaps to me. I'm looking forward to coming to some of those things because it sounds wonderful. Okay, let me smartly move on to Angela Clarke. And Angela, would you like to share what you're hoping to do?
Good evening, Dr. Neil and panelists, and thank you for allowing me to come on. My name is Angela Clarke. I am CEO of RAFA International Development Agency, who for many years have collaborated with Reach Society. And since the start of Windrush Day, we have continued to celebrate and encourage collaborations and celebrations of the event. For this year, we're hoping to do a number of things. Firstly, we are collaborating with already existing schools that we go into for Black History Month, and we will be liaising with them to go in on the Wednesday, the actual Windrush Day, and have across the country, we have about 20 contacts so far across the country with schools, and we will have RAFA representatives go in to present and to inform and to have a discussion about Windrush Day, the importance of it, and also the Thanksgiving celebrations. In addition to that, RAFA is the charity arm of the Church of God of Prophecy, and the aim of RAFA for Windrush the Sunday, the 26th, will be to encourage the churches across the country to have a special Thanksgiving service in honor of Windrush Day. But in addition to that, we will be asking them to invite their families to the service, and then after the service to actually have the families to have dinner and have a chat to continue the discussions. We intend to use some of the resources from Reach Society to do that. So certainly we will be sharing the resources from the guide of celebrating the cultural self-esteem with the churches. But in addition to that, with the schools that we plan to go into on the Wednesday, we will be continuing to use the resources of the books, Our Story for Us, by Us, and to encourage the schools to also to purchase those books and to share them across the students, so that we can actually make sure that the heritage and the legacy continues. So that will be two of the projects that we will be doing. We have considered being a hub, and that's something that we would need to discuss with Reach Society separately, but that's something that we've also considered being a hub for Windrush Day, Thanksgiving Day. Thank you.
Angela, that sounds absolutely fantastic. And for those who are unfamiliar with the idea of being a hub, all it means is that you're going to be doing something to celebrate cultural esteem, but you're happy to tell people in your locality what it's all about so that they can do stuff as well. So absolutely brilliant. Let me move now to Trevor. Trevor Adams, please introduce yourself, Trevor, and share what you're hoping to do.
Hi, good evening, everyone. After listening to Angela, I'm thinking, what can I say to actually follow that? But I am in Luton, Bedfordshire, and been associated with Reach Society for quite some time now. I feel I'm part of the furniture, and proud to be part of the furniture. We had a Windrush Day celebration 2019, and Angela came down and spoke at that event, and several other local community leaders spoke at that event. I think Dwain also mentioned that we are hoping to, we're looking forward to putting on an employability day down in our region as well. But for the Windrush Day celebration event, we are looking to do some stuff with the Amina Centre, who runs a luncheon club, to bring our elders and our young people together in conversation to look at the achievements of the Windrush generation. I'm also looking to encourage some of our local churches in the area, churches within the community, to be able to model what we did in 2019, where we had a service and we chose the opportunity for everyone to stay at church and have a meal together and continue the conversation. And so those are the things that I'm planning for the celebration in Luton.
Trevor, fantastic, and very happy to come to any of the stuff you're doing. Luton is not so far away, coming from Northwest London. Otis, what are you hoping to do in that last week of June, my friend?
Hi everyone. So on Sunday, is it the 20?
Yeah,
26th of June, and we'll be holding a dinner event at the West Indian Centre, Westwood Street, Moss Side. As part of that event, we're also going to be working in partnership with someone who's also part of TAP, who's putting together a cultural archive. So we're looking to print off some of the images and put them on display within the hall. We'll also be doing a quiz based on Windrush history. And also we'll be incorporating something called Bobbin UK, which stands for Black Owned Business, but it's like, it's a thought-provoking, it's based on a dating game, but it can be used to have thought-provoking conversations, but we're gonna have it solution-based in regards to how the community can move forward as we're very solution-orientated. So we want to incorporate that within the day and how we can continue to move forward as a community intergenerationally with the elders and the youngers. So we're trying to bring those ethics back. So yeah, that's what we're planning to do.
Well, it sounds like you've got some really interesting things planned for Manchester. And as a graduate of Manchester University, I know that Moss Side is not very far away. So good luck with all of that.
Oh, sorry, yeah, and something else I forgot to add. I've also doing a project where we're depicting Windrush stories. So we've already completed one of those where we've added in like animations to add towards the story. So I'll post one of those in the chat for anyone who would like to view them.
Sounds absolutely fabulous. Thank you for that. Can I turn to our other patron who is with us, John Budu-Aggrey? And John, do tell folks where you're based and also what you're planning, because I was impressed by what you told me the other day. So over to you, sir.
John Budu-Aggrey, Director of Alpha Building Services Engineering. We are a training provision. We are based in Stratford, London. During this last week of June, we will incorporate with the Windrush celebration activities with our own 20th anniversary. And we will have a hosting on our compound to celebrate the modern Black personalities in our society, and also feast our guests with multicultural food and stories. Again, we have some promotional activities that we are going to do to promote the Windrush activities more by giving out memorabilia like the t-shirts, cups, books, etc. We've already placed an order, but the big order will come during this period. Thank you.
Wow, I didn't realize you were going to do that, John. We better talk so that the suppliers are forewarned. But, you know, John, if I didn't hear it, I apologize. You're celebrating this year 42 years of running Alpha BSc, aren't you?
Yes, Alpha BSc is 20 years, but
yeah.
42 years in business.
Well, you know, congratulations to you, because I'm not aware of many Black-owned businesses that have been going for more than 4 decades. So you deserve to be recognized for that achievement in any and all of our celebrations, my friend. So thank you for doing that. Let me move on now to Ovetta and inviting her just to share what she's hoping to do and her organization end of June.
Good evening, Dr. Neil, and hello, good evening to everyone here. It's a pleasure to be sharing. What we're hoping, I'm Ovetta McInnes, I'm the chair of Enfield Caribbean Association, and we're based in Enfield, North London. Okay, so we have actually been running celebrations for Windrush Day since 2019, but in 2020, due to the lockdown, we had an online quiz, which was a community quiz, Windrush quiz, and we had a smaller quiz the following year. So this year, we're happy that we can actually go back to celebrating. So we actually run a luncheon club, and on the Friday, the 24th of June, we plan to have a cultural event, which will be about raising cultural esteem. I just want to say that because this year we will have published our book, Windrush Voices. We're writing a book at the moment, and that's why I invited Roy, because he's actually the writer and also a trustee. And the book, indeed, and it's going to chronicle the stories, the narratives of 20 people who came to England in the 1950s and 60s. And we've almost finished the interviews and the filming. So we're going to have a book, a film and an exhibition. And this will be available in Enfield. So it's going to be quite significant this year because we hoped at the celebration to have readings from the book, interviews with some of the participants, and music and refreshments and poetry. So it'll be quite a celebration, and we're going to invite all the participants, all 20, and their families. So it's really going to be intergenerational, and the local community, councillors, etc. So we're aiming to have quite an event this year. It will be really special. So that's on the Friday, the 24th. And then we're planning to have an exhibition from the book, which will go into schools. And that will be a mobile exhibition which schools can use at any time, but it will be available, obviously, from the Windrush week, if not before. And we may even go into schools with the book to do assemblies and so on in Enfield. So we're very sort of focused in Enfield. We're a small group, but we have what I would call big ideas in terms of what we try to do and who we try to reach. Roy, do you want to add anything to that?
No, the only other thing I wanted to add is the fact, okay, we've been interviewed.
Ah, he's gone.
Craig, can you bring Roy back?
Some of the stories that come out is amazing in terms of, for example, a woman who came to England in 1953 to work in the civil service, and she ended up teaching in northern Nigeria for a further 27 years. And she just talks about her experiences and the whole journey. And then she came back in the 80s during the heights of Thatcherism, for example.
Mm. Yes, each story.
So the stories are really, really engaging. And what I'm going to try and do is to template it.
Mm.
So what I mean is, so the idea is at the end of it, we're going to document everything we did so that if any other organization, any other African Caribbean organization anywhere in the UK wanted to do something similar, they can take our template and look at exactly what we did in terms of applying for grants, in terms of the process, in terms sometimes down to the.
That sounds really useful, Roy.
IT in terms of success.
Okay, lovely. Thanks for that, Roy. Oveta, please take my order now because I would want to own a copy of it. And I know I sort of supported your application, but it sounds even more interesting now.
Yes, yes, that's great. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Mel, now, do share what you and folks, family or otherwise, are hoping to do at the end of June.
Okay, so good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. Lovely to see everyone again. I think what we're planning, the organisation that I spend some time with is the Jamaican Diaspora, West Midlands Jamaican Diaspora Group. And I'm hoping to share the ideas that I'm putting forward tonight with them. I'm an honorary lecturer at the University of Birmingham, and I think a lot of people know that.
Do speak up a little more, Mel. For me, it's a bit faint.
Okay, can everyone hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so I hope you heard that I'm a member of the West Midlands Jamaican Diaspora Group. And what I'm hoping, and it's still very much in its infancy, is something which is more family-centered. Okay, it's something which I hope we can continue traditionally through families. And it's centered on celebrating cultural esteem and Windrush Thanksgiving. The idea, which I'm going to put forward, and I hope, and it's something we will do in our family, and Dwain will know that from 2019, I was very keen that we didn't forget the Windrush contributions, and I made t-shirts for everyone in our family, and we wore them proudly and shared the day. And what I want to do is to extend that. I'm conscious also that people find it difficult to travel, and now that we have the facility of connecting virtually, this is the idea that we can contact family members who might not be able to make it on the day. So this is family-centered, and what I'm hoping to do is that within the family, each year, the aims are as follows. We're going to identify the oldest and youngest member of the family and celebrate them and their significance and connection to the Windrush generation. We're also going to identify any member who died in the past year and their place in the contribution they made to the family. And also celebrate any momentous occasions in the family, which each individual will talk about, and we'll give recognition for that. Now, on a practical level, I'm going to send out a WhatsApp invitation to everyone, and I'm hoping they will forward it to everyone in the family. Those who aren't on WhatsApp, we'll try and contact them in other ways, but I'm hoping to get as many members of the family together as far as possible on the 26th, that's Sunday. And I'm going to try to make it a time which is inter-continent friendly. So wherever family are, hopefully they can join us. And we're going to begin with introductions because a lot of people won't have seen people for a long time. So we're going to introduce and say who we are. And they're going to relate who they are to me or anyone who's the organizer of that family gathering so that people can start connecting and see where people are coming from. And as I said, we're going to identify the youngest and oldest member of the group, and we are going to recognize them and we're going to celebrate them with our love. We're also going to spend a moment of silence for people who've died. So on a practical level, we will, in our group on Zoom, just take a moment to remember them and honor them in a minute's silence. Then we're going to record all the momentous occasions. People will have opportunity to just talk about anything that's momentous to them. It could be a child on the Zoom who might be talking about an occasion at school. It doesn't matter what it is. Or it may be, getting a knighthood or, anything, a promotion, moving house, and just connecting with the family so we get to know each other. And then the last thing we'll do is to give a special recognition to a named Windrush person. Anyone can choose any person from the Windrush era that they want to remember and reflect on and talk about them. And we'll finish off the session by just remembering that the next date for the next year and also share it on social media. So it's all very family orientated, and I hope it'll become a traditional thing that we do.
Lovely. That sounds really, really special. And I can feel it's going to be a good occasion. Thanks for sharing that, Mel. Okay, let me move to someone who is my partner in crime on this project, because Carl is the co-chair of this working team around Windrush Day Thanksgiving. So Carl, would you like to share what you're hoping to do end of June?
Thank you, Dwain. Carl Murray, based in North London, London Borough of Waltham Forest. Some call it East London, but I like to stick to the north side. And for the week of the Windrush Celebrating Cultural Esteem period, the society itself is planning, currently in the throes of planning an event on the 24th. Conversation.
Can you project a little bit more, Carl?
If I get closer, maybe that will help. How about that?
Yeah, much better.
Try not to raise my voice. So 24th of June, we are planning a community conversation that we will be hosting at a local eatery in London. They need to be absolutely confirmed, but we've got an idea. And on the 26th, we will continue the family tradition that we started when we inaugurated the Windrush Day Thanksgiving family. And similar to Melrose, we will be hosting this time an international event using the Zoom platform as opposed to the government in the past. And part of that is almost exactly as Melrose has indicated, which is to link generationally, that we've done it before as a family reunion. But due to COVID, we only able to have it last year, so we're going to have it this year on the virtual platform. So it's our second family reunion. Last time we had 75. We're hoping that it will increase this year. We've got things to talk about. that's what we're planning in family. And sorry, there is one other on. I've got a date for it. It will be between the 22nd and 26th. Colleague and I are planning an event targeting the customer service aspect of people facing Black businesses. And part of that is to try and ramp up the business that the Black community owns, and especially customer facing, in particular, the restaurants and eatery service. Not the only one, but they're one of the areas that we focus on. And that will take place from the week. So those of you who are following me on Twitter, look out for that. Those who aren't following me on Twitter yet, this is a call out.
Lovely. Carl, sounds very interesting and cuts across a number of sectors, not only the Reach Society restaurant occasion, but your family internationally, and of course, business sector. Now, I'm going to take these two lovely people as a job lot. Una and Mark, you're both from the same organization, but do introduce yourselves separately and tell us where you are and what you're hoping to do last week of June.
Okay, yes, I'm Una Alexis from Pursuit of Happiness, co-founder and director, along with Mark Morris, my partner. We are based in Huddersfield, that's West Yorkshire, so not far from Leeds or Manchester. We're an online community centre at present. We've been going about 15 months now, 16 months nearly, and we are just going into another project of working with children, because we believe children, they are our future, and we have to think about the generations that are coming after us as well. So I'll let Mark explain what we're going to do for our Windrush Thanksgiving Day celebrations.
Yeah, thanks, Una, and hello, Dwain and friends. Last year, we focused quite a lot on trying to get the Windrush flag raised above all the civic buildings in our area. So we were really interested to hear about the family gatherings aspect, because it was so distant, you know, the top of the building's not really connected to people. So yeah, we're going to host an event to bring quite a lot of generations together in a town hall or a cultural building, and we're going to have entertainment. We're going to bring a singer in, but mainly just to make the mood right, so that people feel ready to have a conversation about the contributions that have been made to our hometown by the generations that have visited, and also connect them to the younger generation and make sure that that's instilled as a tradition, much the same as the flag going above the building. It should be a regular annual event. So we're looking forward to it. We've, like Una says, we've been running for 15 months, and it's always good to get these ideas from organisations that have been around for as long as it was. I've forgotten who's his name's disappeared, but yeah, John's organisation's been around doing the work as long as he has. We hope to emulate that, and this is a good start. So yeah, thanks for the invite, and we look forward to hearing more about it.
Budu-Aggrey, 42 years in business, absolutely. Now, I had Beverley Hillman next, but I'm not sure if Beverley is still online with us. Are you still with us, Beverley?
I'm here.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah. A bit of a cough, so I had to come off for a little while, yeah.
It's all right. We won't hold it against you, Beverley. Do tell us who you are and where you are and what you're hoping to do in June.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Beverley Hillman. For the past 3 years, my church in Clapham, so I'm based in London, South London. The past 3 years, my church in Clapham has been celebrating and commemorating the Windrush generation and their descendants. Each year we've had a theme, and we've formed a team to present to the congregation, to visitors, and it's also been an opportunity for outreach to the community. Our focus is that it should be spiritual, because it's our church, so there's a spiritual element to it. It's also educational, it's intergenerational, so that the elders, the children, and the young people are all involved. Last year, our focus was on leaving a legacy and documenting our stories. This year, we're going to think about achievers. Who are the achievers in our community? Who do the children admire most and why? We're going to be sharing our stories with family members. So on the Sunday, we're hoping to have a service and then involving the young people, sharing their story, talking about their achievers. And the aim is to empower the children, to inspire them, to motivate them for the future. We're physically hoping to meet and have a meal if possible, but otherwise, as last year, it will have to be on Zoom. So I'm delighted to be involved in this and Windrush Day Thanksgiving, celebrating cultural esteem. Also, as part of London Black Educators, we will be sharing Windrush stories and achievers and thinking about it in our families and encouraging others who are linked to our organisation of how they can think about achievers and share in their community all about the Windrush and its contribution, Windrush generations, descendants and their contributions. So also, I also work at a Saturday school and in South London, and it will be our 40th anniversary. But also part of that, we will also try and, well, not try, we will aim to encourage the parents, the children, everyone to get involved in celebrating cultural esteem and all the contributions that our descendants and Windrush generation have made, and to promote the idea right across the community. And what we say at Saturday School is each one teach one. So we're hoping to spread that across our community. Thank you.
Beverley, thank you. I'm going to embarrass you a little bit by telling everybody Beverley is one of our hardest working ambassadors in the community, and I'm always pleased when she calls me because she's done something wonderful and she's sharing it with me. So thank you, Beverley. Thank you for all that you're doing. Now, I'm about to invite two of my partners in crime, one after the other, to say a few words. They know the score. Donald, you first, followed by Rob. But for anyone on the call who isn't aware, these are the two guys I blame for helping to set up Reach Society. Yeah, endless coffees in Starbucks for 6 months, and then we rolled it out in October 2010. So the nightmares are coming from you guys. Over to you, Donald.
Well, thank you, Dwain. It was one of those phone calls Dwain said was, Donald, have you got a minute? And and yeah, so, you know, it's like everybody shakes their heads. No, thank you. And you know, firstly, I'd like to really say, and Dwain mentioned this at the beginning, I'm looking at the screen and to see so many of our community groups spread across the UK. We just gotta get Northern Ireland and Wales and that's it. But this is really fantastic. And it's, in terms of, you know, what we'll be doing. So, as you know, co-founder, co-director of Reach Society and involved in the network conversation program. And I'll speak a little on that. Carl already hinted that, you know, Reach Society will be taking over a restaurant in London. And on the Friday, the 24th, we'll all be gathering. Perhaps Dwain will tell you more where the restaurant is on the date, which is the 24th in the evening. And we want as many people to come as possible. And the idea is that each of us will raise a glass, but also say a few words about one or two folks who we feel have emulate cultural esteem. I've Bagsied first claim on Professor Sir Geoff Palmer. So I definitely, we share the same surname. So I've Bagsied him. So I'm going to say a few words about him. And again, I'd like to thank him because on my 59th birthday, we shared dinner together. So that was great. So I've Bagsied him. But will each of us say a few words about other individuals? And another person I really want to share and talk about is Olive Morris. Olive Morris, some of you may not know, was only died at the age of 27. but someone really important in terms of civil rights and Black activism for Black women, particularly in South London, where I grew up. And so there's that connection. And in fact, her birthday, she was born on the 26th of June, which is really important. So that's one of the things we'll be doing. And I'll be bringing my family to that restaurant. The other things, I just want to share a couple more points of what we'll be doing around that period. So on that Friday is also the Friday where we're going to be hosting our network conversation. And one of the things that I'm looking at doing is potentially having some authors who've written a celebration of cultural esteem. So Ovetta and Roy, if your book is published by then, we'll get you to come along to talk about your book, and that's something that we want to do. I also want to say a couple more points in terms of the network conversation, which either will be online or in person. One of the things we want to do in terms of celebrating cultural esteem is we're going to have a session called Young, Gifted and Black, where we will invite some of our young people who are doing some amazing work to talk about what they're doing. And finally, 2022 represent a key year for a couple of the Caribbean islands. Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago actually celebrating 60 years of independence. So we will be celebrating that by inviting, and we're going to see if this is possible, but we hope it could be in June, it could be in July, but what we want to do is to invite folks from those islands to talk about what does independence mean, and we want to have a really robust discussion about that, and where does Jamaica and Trinidad see themselves in. So this year represents quite a lot in terms of celebrating Windrush and celebrating cultural esteem. So thank you.
Lovely. Thanks, Donald. Appreciate all of those good points. Rob, follow that. No, over to you, sir.
Catch. I'll give it a go. Hi, everyone. My name's Rob, Rob Neil. I'm one of the 3 founding members of this beautiful organization called the Reach Society. I'm a Jamaican living in Harrow, born in Paddington. You can do the math. And I'm a former civil servant. After 38 years working in the public sector, I let go of my beloved civil service in order to live a fuller life around my own consultancy called Crystal Alliance, and working with organizations to encourage and support them in being more inclusive. And that segues into what I plan to do during this wonderful week. I should mention a lot of it's focused on family, because on the 23rd of June, the day after Windrush Day, is a celebration of my marriage. If I get there, it will be 32 years. If Donna from St. Vincent and the Grenadines lets me through the door again, we'll have a celebration around that and open our house and home to others, friends and family. By then, we will be for the first time grandparents, because my daughter, who joined the civil service 2 weeks after I left to work as a prosecutor with the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, will have given birth in the April of this year to what we now know will be a grandson. Lots of battles about the name going on there. Anyway, I digress. Safe to say, lovely smile, Mark, lovely smile. Safe to say, on the 25th of June will be my mother's 78th birthday. She's from the parish of St. Elizabeth in Jamaica. The red dirt, you know the one, Sir Geoff, you know what I'm talking about. The bauxite in the dirt of Jamaica. And so we'll be opening up our homes again just 2 days later. And on the Sunday, a traditional walk that I have every Sunday, I'll be opening up that walk, inviting family and friends to reflect on, roughly halfway through this significant year by then, to look back at some of the legacy that we're all enjoying, some of the legacy we hope to continue adding to. My organization will be doing some stuff in schools. We did so last year through my connections with the Department for Education, which was my last department before I let go of the civil service. I've retained those connections. Dwain has taught me never to burn bridges, and to remain in good favor with those, even if we have a difference of opinion. And so if my parties are legal, if they are allowed, thank you, Angela, you've got that one, you've got that one. If they're allowed, we will celebrate this wonderful cultural esteem that we're building and adding to in this beautiful and gorgeous way. We're going to have a breakfast on the 26th of June. I'm going to try and get to the restaurant on that Friday preceding, if Dwain tells me where it is this year, because last year he didn't tell me. And my role as a spare part on the three of us that founded the Reach Society, my role is less hands-on and active as Dwain and Donald, but it is no more and no less important in that I manage the two Twitter accounts that we have, the Reach Society 10 and indeed the WDT-CCE, and I'll be populating those Twitter platforms with all of the fantastic work that we've heard so far this evening and in this video. And I'll make sure that in this, what will be our 12th year, we get even bigger and we have a greater reach for the Reach Society. Thanks for allowing me this time, and thank you all for all that you do. Mwah.
Yeah, Rob, superb. Thank you very much. Guys and gals on this call, you see what I've got to put up with. These guys are big hitters, so I've got to be on my A game to stay with them. But, you know, that's why Reach Society works, because we build on each other's ideas. Now, I believe Emise from the African Caribbean Medical Association is on the line, but I'm not sure if she's unmuted. Emise, are you with us?
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Thank you again.
Okay, can we see you, Emise? Because I know you have a super smile to begin with. Oh, look at that! Fantastic. Emise, tell folks what you do, but also where you're based, and also what you, your organization, are hoping to do in the last week of June. Over to you, my dear.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Emise. I'm currently a core surgical trainee junior doctor based in Cambridge, and I am one of the co-founders and trustees for the African Caribbean Medical Association. We set up this organization 5 years ago in order to support and provide a network for all the Black junior doctors and medical students across the UK. We started off in Cardiff, and we've got a few other branches in Southampton, Midlands now, and in the north of England. And we hope for the last week of June. So we've got the exact number of hosts for the 22nd to the 25th. So the plan is for Cardiff to start off, since this is our founding city, and to host an event of which will be hopefully in person and involving all local groups and churches. Southampton will then follow, and Southern Doctors Network will follow as well after that. And then the newest member, which is the Midlands, ACMA Midlands, which also incorporates medical students and junior doctors. So hopefully they will also have their celebration event, of which we have given them freedom to decide whatever form that takes. On the last day, we will then have a national virtual celebration event where we hope to get spoken word poets, as well as singers and possibly dancers to join us to celebrate the whole week that we've spent, for each of the hubs to then tell us what they have done and to share that on the platform. And hopefully it will be recorded so that that can then be shared to all social media for other people to see and replicate the following year.
Emise, that sounds absolutely fabulous. Okay, now I have two more folks and then we can shut up shop. I just want to make sure I haven't missed Clive Fraser out. Clive, are you still on the line? Okay.
Yes,
yeah, and I know
I am, Dwain.
spoken already, but I know that you're a man who have your own ideas. Did you want to chip in before I move to the next person?
Well, actually, Dwain, I ceded my voice to Melrose because I knew that she was more than competent to speak for the two of us.
Brilliant. Well, I didn't want to be knocked about the head by not giving you your moment, so thank you for that clarification. Now, you notice, folks, that there is one other person on the call that I haven't called on yet, and I hope he won't think it's because I'd forgotten about him. But my dear friend Patrick Vernon has got me involved with something which I think he's calling Windrush 75 Network. And I think I've gone to one of what could be a whole series of discussions in preparing for the celebration in 2023. However, sir, I'm sure you're going to say something about that, Patrick. Tell folks where you are and also what you're hoping to be doing in that last week of June.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's really great to hear from everyone from all parts of the country. I'm in Hackney, East London. So there's three things I want to say. Firstly, I just want to commend everyone for all your plans and what you want to do. I think it's really, really important. As you know, I've been involved with quite a few people trying to get Windrush Day, and one of the consequences of Windrush Day is the government has used it for their own purposes. We need to reclaim it back. It was already ours in the first place. You have to acknowledge the work of the late Sam King and Arthur Torrington. They organised the very first Windrush Day event back in 1998, but I got involved from about 2009 onwards because and to make the campaign that we should celebrate it every year, which we are doing now, which is fantastic. So when it came to the 60th anniversary, 70th anniversary of Windrush, I started a dialogue with a number of organisations, including Reach Society, to say what people are doing for the 70th anniversary. And a number of people did organise a number of events. Then we had the Windrush scandal during that year, as you know, and obviously everything was focused on the scandal. But we got the Windrush Day recognised by the government also at the same time. And then I think it was 2019 when we started to have the first Windrush Day event. And I can remember that weekend because I spent the whole weekend travelling the whole country, from Manchester, travelling down to London, then to Luton, and then I think I was somewhere else on the coast. I can't remember where it was. I just lost. I don't know what happened to me. You know what it's like with Black History Month? It was like Black History Month in 24 hours. That's the only way I could describe it. Seriously. But I think the key thing is we had a meeting early on this week, and I'm hoping some of you that couldn't make the meeting will be involved. And so please, either you can forward, I'll put my email in the chat, or you can pass your details on to Dwain, and he can pass them on to you, and then I can add them. So, and they look at the whole stuff around celebrating diversity and multicultural Britain, and they're cross-party. And this is quite important because Windrush Day is cross-party, it's cross-secular, it's cross everything, cross island, cross continent. I think it's really important to recognise that, but the government unfortunately have used Windrush Day in a very narrow and a particular context, basically, to take cover. I'm not going to get too political, but we need to reclaim it. It's about cultural esteem, as everyone has said. It's really funny, interesting, because this year is the 20th anniversary of me launching my very first website, Every Generation. And when I developed that website, Every Generation, it was about family genealogy, family history. And this is at the heart, I think, of this idea of Thanksgiving, acknowledging our achievements of our elders and young people, but also transferring the knowledge and thinking for the next generation. Has to be the essence of what we do. And that's why I commend the work of Reach, and all of us are doing this. We have to do this because, as Sir Geoff said, you have St. Patrick's Day and Burns Night, and everyone, and I've been to quite a few Burns Night stuff and St. Patrick's Day, and yes, and everyone's invited from different parts, different communities, but everyone knows that Burns Night is Scottish. Everyone knows that St. Patrick's Day is Irish, but yet you can still invite people from different faith groups and to share, to learn and to absorb. And that's what we're going to work toward. That it's ours, but we're happy to share. And then we do that anyway, sometimes at our detriment. and that's another conversation that we can have on that point. But the idea is that, you know, it's 18 months, the clock is ticking for the 75th anniversary, and the idea is this network is to invite people. It's very similar to what we're doing right now. People sharing ideas. How can we support you? What do we need? And all that kind of stuff. We know that when it comes, and what's more important in particular, the 75th anniversary, it could be the last time that we have a proper recognition for those Windrush generations members who are still alive. Because when it comes to the next set of anniversaries, some of them may not even be around that time. COVID has taken so many of our elders' lives away. We all know that, you know, not just elders, but quite a few of them, different age ranges. So this 75th anniversary is going to be even more significant than the 70th, to be quite honest, in many ways. And so the whole idea is to share information, network, and to explore ways how we can elevate the Black British community. This is really, really important. So that's what I want to share. It's really, really critical that we talk about our self-esteem as Black people. And it's really important, and we don't do enough of it. So we need to do more of that. I'll stop there, thank you.
Patrick, I've given you a lot of leeway to share what you've done, and I'm delighted you did, because a lot of people will recognize some, if not all, aspect of what you're saying. Just want to pick you up on one point you said about Reach Society. No, we're not a mentoring organization. We have lots of role models to inspire young people. It's a common mistake, but you know, we have one hit with young people in our inspiration event, and that has a transformation effect. Okay, but notwithstanding that, I love what you've been doing. I will continue to support what you're doing because it's important. And in terms of spreading what we've started further afield, the news I can share with folks today is that yesterday I was at a school in Harrow. The headmaster had ordered the full set of our 6 books, and he wanted to talk to me about the last book, which is Our Guide for Celebrating Cultural Esteem. And this is what he said to me: Dr. Neil, will you come and talk to our senior leadership team about how we can celebrate cultural esteem in our school with all of the students? And that for me was a brilliant moment. I'm pretty certain other schools will catch on to the fact that they can do something like that as well. So the word is spreading. Okay, let me wrap this up because I wanted to finish at 7:30. We've gone over by about 8 minutes. And let me say thank you to every single one of you for sharing what you're hoping to do in June. It's a brilliant shopping list, and it sounds like there will be lots of stuff happening all across the United Kingdom. So thank you all very much for that. And if I can close with a final message to everyone who will view this recording, everyone in the modern Black community, if you hear something that takes your fancy, copy it locally and celebrate cultural esteem as well. Thanks, everybody.